President Biden will soon be heading to Massachusetts to talk clean energy and announce additional actions on the climate. And it appears that many of those vocal eco-warriors, they're so brave, aren't practicing what they preach, including the president's own climate czar, John Kerry. Federal data revealing that since the president took office, Kerry's private family jet has made a total of 48 trips, lasting more than 60 hours, emitting more than 300 metric tons of carbon dioxide. That is a lot. For perspective, the average carbon footprint for an American is 16 tons, not for their jet, for an American in a year annually. Kerry's hardly alone. Several celebrities splurge on private jets, even for short flights that take just minutes. Rapper Drake reportedly took an 18-minute trip on board his plane, Air Drake, when just last year the rapper partnered with a forum to reduce his carbon footprint. And power couple Beyonce and Jay-Z, who have been encouraging the masses to switch to a plant-based diet with their Green Print project, reportedly took their private jet for a 47-minute trip in Washington state. Other jet-setting offenders include Katy Perry, Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, we love him here, and Steven Spielberg. Going back to John Kerry, Natalie, interesting, the New York Post says under the terms of the Paris Agreement, which they all bow down to, which seeks to keep global warming well below 2 degrees Celsius, a person's annual carbon footprint should be 2.1 tons a year. So just his jet is 150 times that.
I think it's really frustrating when people see elected officials and people in Hollywood doing exactly the opposite of what they preach. Unfortunately, this is a lot of hypocrisy. They're creating these big carbon footprints with private jets. Why can't they get on commercial planes like everybody else can? Maybe they should take a kayak across the Atlantic Ocean. That doesn't use up any energy at all. And I think that this just gets to the heart of they're not representing the average working person who's concerned with so much. And now this green push, I have to mention, I'm normally speaking about Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is something that can actually help with our climate, even though people see it as the reverse because of media headlines, and it can capture some of the methane and drive toward renewable energy sources. But Washington, Hollywood, they're out of touch.
Well, you asked why John Kerry can't do what we all can do. He actually has an answer for you, so we'll roll the tape.
If you offset your carbon, it's the only choice for somebody like me who is traveling the world to win this battle. The time it takes me to get somewhere, I can't sail across the ocean. I have to fly to meet with people and get things done.
The old somebody like me line, Todd.
Only choice. He is a very important person, and in fact, he does have many leather-bound books. Look it up. It's reality. What I love about this, all these people, these elites who lecture us, none of them are living in a mud hut with no electricity.
Yeah.
They're obviously all just BSing us. But one point I want to make, it's not just the private jet, it's this overall notion of being rich, because the common person, and I'm going to put myself in that category as a new dad, you know what I do? I walk around that house shutting off lights. I'm riding the brake. Anytime the AC's on, I go into a room and raise it. And my wife yells at me. That's what normal Americans do. That's what normal men do. We try to reduce our carbon footprint, not because we care about the environment, because we're cheap. And so if you're cheap, if you're trying to save money, which we all are right now, you do those things. Somebody in John Kerry, Jay-Z, Meghan Markle's position, they have unlimited funds. They're not going to do that. They do not understand what reality is when it comes to either finances or living in the real world of climate change that, quite frankly, we can't afford to focus on right now.
Yeah, it was either John Kerry or Al Gore who said they were flagrant light switcher offers, so you guys have that in common.
Yeah, right. All right.
You may not have in common, maybe you do, I don't know. With these celebrities, we'll put up the chart, Kat. Here you go, Jay-Z, Beyonce, we went over their 47-minute flight. Drake, 18-minute flight. Spielberg, 17-minute flight. Yeah, I prefer they take the Greta Thunberg sailing approach across the Atlantic.
No, you know what? I don't care what they do. The only reason I don't fly private is I don't have enough dollars. If I had the chance to fly on Air Drake, I would. The problem is, of course, the hypocrisy of saying, you need to care more about the environment when there's no comparison between my carbon footprint and Drake's carbon footprint. And flying is a pain. I think one of the best things we could do for the environment would probably be to abolish the TSA so that you don't have to spend so many hours at the airport making sure that you don't have lotion. or a water bottle. I think that would be a huge environmental move. Get rid of the TSA.
This seems very personal. I'm with you. They can be complicated, Julie.
Body lotion is important, though. I mean,
is.
and I need more than 2 ounces. You know, I really like to be shiny. But the fact that this man is actually in charge of the global climate, the State Department's global climate, and yet he's flying around in a private jet, that alone obviously is hypocrisy. But then he says when he's actually doing business, he flies commercial, which I thought was interesting. So you recognize that, you know, obviously if you were flying around in a personal jet, in a private jet by the government, that would be wrong. But it's okay during your downtime to be, you know, burning up the earth and wasting energy over your own personal needs. I mean, it's kind of a joke.
It is. We did get some temporary good news, Todd, from the White House press briefing yesterday. Karine Jean-Pierre was asked if they are going to declare a climate emergency, which would allow them to cease oil and gas drilling here in the U.S. Of course, really good for gas prices, right? Here's what she said.
It's not on the table for this week. We're still considering it. I don't have the upside or the downsides of it.
Well, we have the downsides, namely stopping drilling.
Yeah, I mean, look, we need to be careful as to what we label an emergency. Natural disaster, terror attack, emergencies, because there's an immediateness to them. This, while we all love clean air and clean water, I in fact use both. I'm a big fan of clean air and water. This is not an emergency that we need to focus on today. We got a lot of other problems in the world. We can all do our part to keep the air clean and the water clean, but when it's a real emergency, you got to make it a real emergency, and using the word is going to dilute the word, so everything's an emergency.
And keeping our baby formula, as both you and I
An actual
firsthand.
emergency.
Yeah.
An actual emergency.
True.
Really important. Emergencies.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.